Okay, man, bringing y'all another video. I'm going to talk about everything that you need to know about how credit repair works in 2024. Brought to you by yours truly, myself, Brian Bracy, and my company, AMT Capital. All right, so again, Brian Bracy, I'm a DC native. I got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Alabama and a master's in real estate development. So, credit repair is not the only thing I do. We're in all things financial literacy, but on a day-to-day basis, we are involved in commercial real estate. Now, I always like to tell people, tell my clients, tell potential leads that, look, I personally spent $25,000 over the past 4 years in continuing education to, stay on top of the latest information as it applies to credit repair and consumer laws and partnerships and stuff like that. Actually, let me move myself out of the way here. But, I say all that to say, look, you can either pay for things in your time. You can spend your time trying to figure things out, or you can pay money to pay a professional, right? One of those two is going to be more valuable to you. I always say that time is probably the most valuable currency that we have. But I'll leave that up to you. I would just rather pay a professional. So, the agenda. What are the topics that we're going to cover? We're going to talk about what is credit repair, right? A lot of people don't really understand what that is, what it entails, and that's what I'm here to do for you all today. Kind of provide some clarity around that and clear that up. Then we're going to talk about the credit repair process, right? What does that entail? How do people actually get results? Does credit repair actually work? Yes, it does work. Help several dozens of clients to repair their credit and really put them in position to buy houses, get a car, get approved for better credit cards and be able to build their credit. And just overall, they just want to be in position to, if something goes wrong, then they're in position to be able to use credit the way it's supposed to be. Or you might just want to travel, right? Obviously, that credit has a lot of perks, and things like cash back, things like travel rewards. Those are some of the perks that you can take advantage of if your credit is in order. Other things we're going to talk about is consultation. What happens on the consultation call when we schedule a call and we go through your reports together. We kind of dive into what your goals really are, and then lastly, we'll talk about expectations. All right, so what is credit repair, right? So credit repair is the process of removing negative, erroneous, and unverifiable items from your consumer report, right? So in order to do that, we challenge the credit reporting agencies. If you don't know who they are, a lot of you should know who the big three are. You really have the main three credit reports, and you're getting that from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, as well as the other secondary data furnishers that a lot of people don't know, right? And the bottom line is that they're keeping a ton of data on you. Data is the biggest currency I think that we have in today's world. Now, again, they're keeping data on you without your permission, and that's a whole nother topic. We'll get into that in the future. But again, when you're going through credit repair, you're challenging negative items that you believe are inaccurate, and it's up to the credit reporting agencies. The burden of proof is on them to verify this information, right? So when you work with a credit repair company, they're essentially going to be a liaison between you and the credit reporting agencies, the big three that I just named, creditors. So all of the banks that you may deal with, that you have gotten financial instruments from, whether that be revolving credit, like a credit card, or maybe it's an installment loan. Maybe you've got a personal loan, maybe you got a mortgage, you got some student loans, you got an auto loan. Those are examples of installment loans, right? They have a fixed a fixed term, and the balance you're just paying down every month. And then also you want them to really go to bat for you against debt collectors, right? We all know debt collection is a nasty business. They're doing a lot of things that are violating your consumer rights. If your credit repair agency or whoever you're working with does not know consumer law, that's a little bit of a red flag, but that's just me. So, a couple statistics here. Now, 1 out of 10 people are credit invisible. So, what does that actually mean, right? Credit invisible means that these people virtually have absolutely no credit, right? So you don't have a credit card, you don't have any installment loans, you don't have any student loans, which I highly what am I trying to say? I highly just don't believe, because we all got student loans. Everybody is in a position that we're trying to pay those back, or if you're not paying those back, they're in deferment, whatever your situation may be. But credit invisible means that you don't have any credit. So a lot of times people don't have a credit score, or the credit is really low, it's because they don't have any accounts, right? In order to generate a credit score, you have to have an account coming from somewhere. Most times they're going to be coming from creditors, right? So if you've never had a credit card, or you never had any loans, I'm not sure how you've made it to, like, through life to this point. Especially when you think about housing, a lot of people, they're going to pull your credit. These apartment complexes are going to pull your credit in order for you to get an apartment. I'm just not sure how you made it this far without a credit score. Show me the game. Now, another thing, 79% of Americans are trying to improve their credit, right? We all know that, again, it's a big business behind credit, right? So these creditors, they get paid, or the credit reporting agencies are getting paid for reporting information on your credit report, right? The creditors actually have to pay in order to report these items on your credit report. So it's a big business. And obviously we know that really here in the United States, it's the foundation for all things financing, right? So you're trying to go get a house, they're going to pull your credit. Trying to get a car, they're going to pull your credit. You're trying to get apartments, they're going to pull your credit. And a lot of times when you're applying for jobs, these companies are pulling your credit because they want to see what type of individual you are, right? It's not personal, it's just business. And basically what that tells them is, it's like a risk profile. And a lot of times people don't want to deal with other people that are risky for their business, right? And so the only way to really control that is if you're in position, right? And so you educate yourself on credit, or you come to somebody like me who's going to educate you on the nuances of credit, right? This isn't just about fixing your credit. Yeah, it's a done for you process, but at the same time, if we're not educating you, then we're not really doing our job. All right, so what does the credit repair process entail? So the first thing that we want to do anytime we're embarking upon this journey is to go through the consultation. Then from the consultation, we will go through an auditing process, and that's where we're going to look at your credit report, see what the negative items are, see where the inaccuracies are, see where the variances are between the different credit reporting agencies, and we're going to create a game plan on how we're going to get those negative items removed. Also, if you have revolving credit cards, if you don't already know, utilization is the number 2 factor for your FICO score, right? So if you have cards that are maxed out or near maxed out, or you're using more than, a lot of people are saying 30%, honestly say you should be between 1 and 9%. 30% is just the threshold of where your utilization stops hurting you. And so we want to be able to use that or leverage our utilization to actually help raise our credit scores, right? So within that audit, I'm going to be looking at all of your revolving cards as well and show you, okay, you need to pay this down to 9% of this limit, right? After we go through the audit, all looks good. We go ahead and get you enrolled, and then the onboarding process starts. And so essentially what happens there is we're going to get all your information, because we need required documents to actually send disputes to the credit reporting agencies, right? So what does that entail? Driver's license, some sort of government ID with your address on there, your current address. And I need a social security card, and then we're also going to need a proof of address. Proof of address can be a utility bill with your current address, something that within the last 1 to 2 months of that utility bill coming out. And then you can also use a bank statement, a W-2. Again, these things should have your current address on here, because when you go and send in these disputes, you're trying to get things deleted. Well, they have to verify you first, right? And so the only way for them to verify you is if you send in this documentation. Now, next stage is going to be the dissociation of your personal information. Without going through this step, you're absolutely not going to see the results that you're hoping for, right? In order to kind of get accounts removed, you have to disassociate the personal information that's attached to those accounts, right? So let's just say, for example, you went and you pulled your Experian report. You can go and see that they have a number identifier for each piece of data that's on your credit report, right? So look at all the names that you have. They got a number identifier for that. Look at all the addresses that you have. They got a number identifier for that as well. Now you can go and cross-reference which addresses and names, really the addresses, cross-reference which addresses are attached to those accounts, right? So until you get that information cleaned up, you should always only have one name, one address, one employer if you want to have that on there. Honestly, that the information isn't too relevant unless you're really trying to showcase that you're stable, right? So you want to show one place of employment for a certain amount of time to basically confirm that stability. But when you go and dispute things, you want to remove the actual personal information that's attached to those negative accounts, right? All right, next thing is the dispute sequence. We'll get into that. And then again, credit building and education. Those are two essential steps as well that you need to have in order to actually maximize your results. So again, the consultation. What do we want to know? Like, honestly, I want to know what your goals are. Like, what are we trying to accomplish with this credit repair, right? Are we trying to get a home? Are we trying to start a business? We trying to get a car? Maybe buy a business, make some investments. Like, what is the ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve once we actually fix your credit, right? Because the thing is, we want to keep that front of mind as we're going through the process, right? It is a process. It's an investment. Things take time. In addition to that, looking at that audit that I was just talking about, what negative items do you have on your credit, right? Collections, charge-offs, hard inquiries, late payments, evictions, bankruptcies. Like, what items are you having trouble getting removed yourself, right? And so that's where we come in as a professional, and we analyze these accounts. We see what the inaccuracies are, and where we can actually go and either maybe get paid for violations or simply just get these negative items removed. Timeline. This is a big question, right? How long does it take to repair my credit, right? And so the credit repair process can take several months. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's not a 24-hour process. It's not even a 1 month process. Now, have we gotten results in that time? Absolutely. But that's not everybody's case, right? Every client is unique. And I would say, just bottom line, just results take time. So just trust the process. Also, give us the same grace that it took you to get into this position to get you out of it, right? So know that you didn't mess your credit up overnight. This is, maybe years of damage that you've done to your credit report. Or maybe you just got into it within the last 6 months. But at the same time, on the same token, give us that grace to get you out of this position. It's not an overnight process. Now, if you're going to work with anybody else, honestly, I always say you should just work with me, because you're dealing with a transparent individual who has the reputation of getting results. And then we're just honestly overall, again, you've seen my credentials, so you're dealing with a qualified individual. But like I was saying in the beginning, they should be a liaison between you and the credit reporting agencies and the debt collectors and the creditors, right? If this person is not going to bat for you, like as if it were their own credit report, honestly, you should just fire that company and go ahead and get with us. Now, your dispute letters, they're going to be sent in rounds, right? Using consumer law. Consumer law is the most effective method of credit repair. Some people use Metro 2. I previously used Metro 2 in the past. Some people use factual disputing. I've used that in the past as well. But again, you need to really be taking, I would say, the most effective route as far as disputing. And again, that's going to be consumer law. So each round on average takes about 35 to 40 days. Now, it can be a lot quicker depending on the responses that we get, right? So let's say we send in a dispute, we get a response within 15 days. Well, we don't have to wait 35 to 40 days to pursue with the next round. So we'll continue with the next round, right? One thing to be aware of, it may take several rounds. It may not. Like I said, we've gotten results within a month's time of a client signing up, and pretty much cleared their report about 80% of the negatives that they've had, right? But everyone is not like that. Again, every client is unique. Their situations are unique. They have different accounts, right? So what happens is the associated party, that being the credit reporting agencies, they're going to review your disputes and either delete the item or they're going to verify that it's accurate. Now, a lot of times, I'll just be honest with you, they're not really doing an investigation. And so when things come back verified, you say, okay, well, we'll take the next step and force them to do a reinvestigation. Now, we're not going to show all our cards, but again, them verifying that it's accurate, it's really, they're just asking the creditor, oh, is this account, did you report this account? They say yes, and that's just the end of that. So again, we have to catch them in their own process and in their lies of saying that this item is accurate when we know that they didn't really do an investigation, right? And so this process essentially continues until all negative items are removed. That's why I always say, like, there's no given timeline of when things are going to be done. Those 2 to 3 month clients, those are unicorns, right? Not everybody's going to have that. On average, I would say about 6 to 8 months, but that's not a guarantee. Now, just want to be transparent. Like, transparency is of the utmost importance to us as a company, as somebody that's serving consumers. And so I always say that in order to really validate that, you should always be asking, what are your results? Where are your testimonials? We have both. I tend to post results pretty much every month, just showcasing, okay, this is what we're able to do for people, right? These are real people. I can't tell you how many times, I've gotten texts, I got calls. People are super excited of what's been going on with the credit after they started to work with us. Now, recent results, like I was saying, I post that all day on my stories. Again, if you need that personally, shoot me an email, support@amtcapital.net, and I can get all of that information for you. Is there official paperwork for this service? Absolutely. I've talked to a lot of people who've gone through credit repair before, and unfortunately, they've signed on with people that don't have them sign any paperwork, any agreements. If it's not in writing, it's not really an official service, in my opinion. Some other people may say otherwise, but you need to be signing something that says, okay, this is what this credit repair company is required to do. This shows you what the requirements are for you as a client, because this is a two-way street, right? We don't just do this for fun. We're not just doing this to collect money and move on, right? So everything needs to be lined out, from the pricing structure, what the requirements are. There should be a CROA statement in there. There should also be a disclosure as far as what you're able to, if you want to, there should be a disclosure of showing you how you can actually cancel the service. If that is not in there, I would run for the hills. Again, make sure that there is official paperwork whenever you're working with an actual business. Do you understand the process after the consultation, right? So once we go through the consultation, I'm obviously going to be asking you a bunch of questions. We want to make sure that everything is clear. Make sure that you understand what the credit repair process entails, the timeline, again, what's required of you, and what we'll be doing on your behalf. So what's the price? This is like the number one question that I get outside of timeline, right? How much do I have to pay? Look, bottom line is credit repair is an investment, right? So I want you to understand that when you're making this choice, like you need to ask yourself, is this a top priority for me right now? If it is, then honestly, you should have no objections. You know, we have to take chances, and I get it. You know, some people have been scammed. There's scammers in every industry. Unfortunately, there may be a little bit more in the credit repair space. But again, you have to do your due diligence, and you have to protect yourself. So there's no paperwork involved. Well, you're not really protecting yourself. But again, is this a top priority for me right now? If it's not, that's cool. Like we'll come back at a later date when it is a top priority for you. But if it is right now, then we need to act like it, right? So credit repair is an investment. It takes time and money. Like if you're not willing to invest those two things, please don't waste my time. Because I don't want to waste yours either. Now, price versus cost and value. So price is just a number, right? Price is what you would pay for the service. But when we look at that in comparison to cost and value, you know, what is the cost for you not signing up and getting your credit fixed, right? Think about interest rates on a house. If you're planning to buy a house and get a mortgage, interest rates on cars through the roof, you know, 24% versus something like maybe a 6 or 7%. And then the cost of you, like think about the emotional damage that you receive when you're getting denied. You know, you thinking you're gonna apply for something, especially in an apartment, right? You know you need a place. Housing is so essential, but you don't know if you're gonna get approved because your credit is in a dump, right? So think about the cost of not moving forward with the service and not working with a professional to get your credit repaired. Now, the value, in my opinion, will always exceed the price, right? So the value that you get from having me fix your credit, let's say you get a mortgage. If I save you 1% on that mortgage, on average, homes are what, 300,000? If I save you $3,000 on that mortgage, I'll say it's a done deal. It exceeds the price. And honestly, we've never charged $3,000 to do credit repair, right? Another thing with the value, like what is the value for the bridge between your current life and your new life, right? You're trying to set up a legacy. You want to leave something to your kids. You want to be able to share this information with them. I said that's invaluable. What is your time worth, right? What is your peace of mind worth? Another thing we have to be mindful of is our poor self and our rich self. Now, poor self is going to keep you right where you're at, right? They're going to be adverse to risk. Like they're not going to want to take chances, not going to want to make an investment. They're going to be complacent, right? They're going to keep you right where you're at. Now, your rich self is going to tell you to make that decision, invest in yourself. Your future self is going to be extremely proud of the decisions that you made now, the investments that you made now, and then you're going to get an ROI on that, right? So you got to be mindful. Just think your poor self is on the left, rich self is on the right. Pay attention to the rich self. Now, last thing, you must keep your credit monitoring active. Again, this is an investment. If you don't keep the monitoring active, there's no way that we can give you an update, right? So we go fix your credit, we're sending you disputes. We can't see what's been removed because, now your monitoring is inactive. and then now we have to call you and pretty much hound you to upgrade or reactivate your monitoring. So please just always keep that active. It makes the process a lot easier. Obviously, you want to see your update. You want to see what's been removed and how we're going to move forward. Now, objections. Oh my gosh. This is probably one of the biggest things. As we get to the end of the consultation and we're about to get you enrolled, you know, maybe you have questions. And look, we're all about answering questions. We want to provide the most clarity for you to make the best decision for you. But some of the things that we hear, look, I need to think about it. Well, not really, because you've already thought about it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this consultation right now. You know what I mean? I need to talk to my spouse about this. Well, I'm pretty sure that your spouse will want you to fix your credit, right? Because you're going to profit off of it. They're going to profit off of it just by being your spouse. But if that's really the case, well, come prepared and already have your spouse on the call so that we don't get to the end and you say you need to talk to your spouse about it. What guarantees can you make? So I get this question a lot as well. Number one, we don't make any guarantees because it's actually illegal to do so, right? And that's in the Credit Repair Organization Act, right? So all credit repair organizations, if you hear anybody giving you guarantees about timeline, about results, run. That's an absolute red flag. You will never hear me give a guarantee. But let me ask you this. You know, what guarantees is your job giving you that you're going to have a job tomorrow? There's none. What guarantees are you getting when you go and buy medicine to see if it's going to be effective? Like, we don't know when we take medicine, but we take the potential to make us better, right? So when we talk about guarantees, bottom line, we don't give guarantees. And so I want you to just be mindful of the objections that you're making. Are these going to be excuses that are going to excuse you out of your blessing? All right. Last thing, man. We're towards the end here. Look, this process doesn't work unless you do, right? So in order for us to be successful, it's a two-way street, like I said before, you know. And so what I need from you is going to be cooperation, communication. You know, cooperate. When I give you advice and tell you to take these steps, just take the steps, right? Again, I'm the professional. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be a fiduciary on your behalf, but you have to take the advice. Communication. If you're in a bind, maybe you have to apply for something. Let's say, you know, car goes south. You need to get a new car. Let me know so that I can be aware that, okay, this person's probably going to get a couple inquiries so that, you know, things just don't pop out of the blue and we're not working against each other, right? We're repairing your credit and then you're going and getting more inquiries. That doesn't help the process. That doesn't help us get to the end goal. Keep your balances low, right? I was saying before, utilization is the number 2 factor when it comes to your FICO score. And so if you don't keep your balances low, well, again, you're working against the process. If you pay down your balances, it's probably the fastest way that you're going to raise your score. You know, a lot of people want to get to a certain score really quickly. Well, the way you do that, pay your balances down to 0. Simple as that. And then as we go through the process, you're going to need to form new financial habits. That's the only way that you're going to maintain what you have and what happens after we fix your credit, right? You can't get your credit fixed and then try to use the same financial habits that you had before, because that means you just end up in the same position that you were in previously. And that's it, man. You know, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Again, I think this is going to be the prerequisite to the consultation. Hoping that this provided a lot of clarity for anyone who is looking to get their credit repaired, looking to work with us. Again, we are taking clients right now. But again, just wanted to shoot this quick video. I know it was fairly lengthy, but at the same time, there's a lot of value packed in here, right? And so watch this as many times as you need to in order to be completely clear on what to expect from a credit repair company, how they should be operating, and what is going to be required of you as a client. All right, signing off.